Well, hello, Viking football fans, and welcome to this edition of the Randall Mill Pharmacy Billy Skinner Coaches Show. I'm Bill Frawley, and with me, as always, of course, Lamar Athletic Director and Head Football Coach Billy Skinner. Coach, how are you doing today?
Good morning. Doing great.
All right, all right. Well, I'm coming to you from Salt Lake City, Utah this morning, and it's a
Let's go.
beautiful sunny morning here with some mountains off in the background.
I was about to ask you, what's the weather like there?
It was nice and cool last night as we were walking down the street a little bit. A coworker and I, and after dinner, it's just nice, cool, breezy. It's supposed to get up to 90 today, I think, but
Gotcha.
it cools off in the evening for sure. So very pleasant. No
I'm
rain.
jealous. I'm jealous. I love hoodie weather.
Come on and scout some Salt Lake City football teams.
There we go.
So, all right. Well, hey, look, I'll let you say as much or as little as you want to. Man, just took it on the chin last Friday night
Oh yeah.
against Martin. There were some rough challenges, some things that happened, some things you can control, some you can't, as always. Um, I'll just open it up and let us know what you want to say and where things are headed for this week.
Yeah. No, you're exactly right. We took it it was a rough one for us. A lot of Vikings getting in the way of the Vikings. Hats off to Martin, hats off to Coach Reeves because they did a great job. They had a great plan in place. Their kids came out ready to roll. They exploited a punt protection and went and got a block on us. And that anytime you get a punt blocked, I mean that makes life very, very difficult. So hats off to those guys. And it's one of those where you feel how you feel after those deals, and that's one of our messages to the kids this week. We're removing all emotion because that has nothing to do with what we need to do to get better. What we need to do is we've got to clean some things up. Obviously, specials was rough, and that's something that we're really harping on this week. That's something that we've incorporated in our practice schedule, not only doing our special teams, but taking a different approach on how to clean those things up. So including some circuit work and then adding a little bit more time so that we can be a lot cleaner on our special teams. We've got to make sure that when you play good football teams, which that's what we're going to be doing for the next 6 weeks, we're going to be playing good football teams. Everyone in our district can play, and so we've got to make sure that we've got that edge on specials. We got to make sure we've got that edge in everything that we do. So, it was a rough game. We were out. We didn't execute well enough on either side of the ball. We didn't execute well enough in the specials phase. There were some really, really good things. We found some guys and I say we found some guys. We know we've got some guys that can play and can execute some things. Braylon Williams, again, the inside linebacker defensively. He's a sideline to sideline kid, and he's one of the best tacklers I've ever seen and ever been around. So, there were some shining moments from a rough night. But for the most part, it's one that we're moving on. We're putting it to bed. We've had a rough 3-game stretch. We've played 3 really good football opponents. And we're hoping that those 3 have gotten us ready to roll to finish our season strong.
Well, that all makes sense. And yeah, there were a bunch of challenges, and like you said, a lot of things, to clean up. And um that Martin game was one of those that just seemed like on the broadcast we were doing, it seemed like Murphy moved in, Murphy's Law, like anything that could go wrong did. And maybe in some ways it's good to see all that in one game and learn
Yeah.
from each of it, and then realize again, going back to what can you control, what can you not control, and be Vikings, right?
That's it. No, and you're
Yeah.
exactly right. And that's what we have to do with our kids is, hey, here's where we screwed it up. Here's how we clean it up. And that's the beautiful part of this whole thing is it's like we're not looking at the tape and thinking, man, we have no shot, or man, we're this or that. It's no, dude, look, we're one person away here. We're one step away here. We're
Exactly.
one play away here. So it's 55-3 is not pretty, but it's also it can be a little deceptive where
Yeah.
no, we're closer than you might think.
A few of those, unfortunately, resulting from whatever, were really quick, short yardage for them type things. So,
Yep.
well, let's turn the focus to Haltom this Friday night and homecoming. Homecoming is always an exciting time. former students, players come back, band members, everyone likes to come back to see Cravens Field and the football team. And it's going to be a great game against Haltom, and hopefully the stands are packed. What does homecoming mean for you?
You know what? It's a special time because I mean, yes, I'm a Viking too. I got to play
Yeah.
here, and so being able to be on the sideline for that and coach that, it's always kind of a surreal moment. After the game, you see those Vikings that maybe I went to school with, or that I know from the rich history here, and so it's not something that is taken for granted by any means. I love knowing that there's going to be um, more former Vikings in the stands during that game, and so it's cool. Uh, Flip side of that, as the football coach, I've got a team to get ready to play, and so we can't get too hung up on the pageantry of homecoming because we've got to remind them, hey, we are the reason why um, people are coming to watch the football game. There's a football game, so I enjoy that moment, but then it's time to work, and so that's where we're at right now. We're in the process of working, and um, Haltom is a good football team. They execute really, really well offensively. They're tough defensively. They line up well. They stay over the top. They don't allow a lot of big plays. They're very good at their system and then their philosophy on football, which is hold the ball, control the ball, score points, and make every possession for the opposing offense have to count. Like you've got to be clean offensively, and if you're not, you can have an opportunity to struggle.
Do you expect to see somewhat of a balanced offense from them, or are you expecting more of the passing or running, or what are you looking for from
No, they want to
Haltom?
run the football. They want to run the football. They run what's called the wing T offense, and so
Yep.
it's a lot of magician ball handling from the quarterback position. You have to do a great job defensively reading your keys. You have to do a great job of being where you're supposed to be. There's no hero ball versus wing T football. There is a job that each person has to execute no matter what it looks like. I've got to do this job. That is hero ball this week. Is if I'm always supposed to be in blank gap, I'm in blank gap and I'm there every single time. Even if there's a little eye candy over this way, and they're really good at the eye candy part. So they want to run the ball. They're very proficient in it. Some think that it's a boring offense. I tell you, it's a thing of beauty. It's fun to break down. It's a pain in the butt to plan for, but they execute it well. They see it well. They've got the if then down pat. So if we're lined up doing this thing, they do a really good job of coming back to what counters that. So um, if you're a football purist, if you love the game, this is a team that's actually really fun to watch.
Well, I grew up in the 70s and 80s, junior high school, watching a lot of football, and the wing T was big back then. And it
Uh-huh.
is exciting because, yeah, like you're saying, you don't know if someone's going to shoot the gap. They're going to sweep it out to the outside,
Yeah.
or do a little zone read, or pitch reverse. There's a lot of things that can happen, and it's fun. And it might be 3 or 4 yards at a time, grinded
Yep.
out, but
Yep.
it's a lot of fun to watch. And so you're right about that.
That's it. I don't want to have any fun watching it this Friday, though.
No, I got you, man. That's a really good point. All right. Well, what can you tell us about how the JV and freshman teams are doing?
Yeah, man, we have some kids that are competing their absolute faces off. We came up short last week on all levels, but just to see our kids battling, to see our kids not making not making excuses for anything. They just want to go out. They want to compete. They want to get better. And you see it in our practices. You see it in our preparation. It's exciting. And here's the other thing that's really exciting because you're asking about how those teams are doing. Um, we are one of 3 teams in our district that have all 5 teams that have
Yeah.
both freshmen, both JV, and our varsity. Well, last week was the end of the 6 weeks where, we're going to find out, hey, are we going to continue to have 5 teams? And we're really excited that we're going to continue to have 5 teams here because those guys not only are taking care of business and working their tails off in football, but they're taking care of business in the classroom. So we won't be losing a lot of Vikings to grade issues or anything like that. And they're going to be able to play their schedule. We're going to have to go find some pickup games for both teams, but that's okay. The fact that they're executing in the classroom and giving themselves an opportunity to compete, like that's a massive win for Lamar football.
Coach, that says a lot about you, your staff, and the players who are realizing I got to perform in the classroom as well as on the field. It's a whole total package. They are student athletes. So thank you and your staff and the tutors and everyone else, the teachers that get involved to help those guys, not just push them through, but to help them learn and learn how to study and learn how to perform, because some of them are going to go on to the next level for classrooms, some going to the next level for classroom and athletics, and it's important to learn it now.
Well, and I've got to take my hat off to parents too. We've got a bunch of parents
Good.
that they communicate really well with us, and that hey, coach, this kid he's not up to the standard in the classroom, and so what are we going to do to fix this? So they we've got some really good parent involvement when it comes to making sure that we've got academic success. Flip side of that, our coaches also know that hey, this kid is struggling in two or three of these classes. Let's talk to the teacher, but let's make sure that we're calling the parents as well. And just
Good.
having that partnership and those kind of things, I think that helps us with the success because when they're getting it here and then they're getting it in the classroom and then they go home and mom and dad are also on their butts about it, it makes our job a lot easier when it comes to that eligibility piece.
Thank you for bringing up the parents, because that is a key part and very fortunate to have that. So this Friday night, the Vikings are going to host Haltom at 7 p.m. at Cravens for homecoming, like we said. What's the time, location, schedule for the JV and freshman teams?
So, all right, here we go. I'm ready. I'm going to make sure
Yeah,
I get
good.
this right. Okay, we'll start with the freshmen. They're at Cravens Field. The freshman gold team will play at 5:30, and then the freshman Navy team, they'll follow that game up and play at 7 o'clock. JV freshman gold will play at 5:30 at Old Birdville Stadium, which I've put that address on SportsU, and then I'll put it out on Twitter and Instagram tomorrow or on game day. And then the JV Navy will play at 7 o'clock. Did I say 7:30 earlier?
No, you
Seven
said
o'clock.
seven. You said
Okay,
seven. Yeah.
good. So
Yeah.
they'll play at 7 o'clock at Old Birdville Stadium as well. And so, yeah, we're
Gotcha.
excited about that.
All right. Well, thank you for putting that up there for us. And of course, as always, man, the Booster Club is doing great things and people are still donating, but you still need
Yes.
more of the sports drinks, 20-ounce bottle cases. And I
Yes,
gotta I
please.
gotta say, Coach, every year that I've been involved, the Booster Club's great, but I gotta put, tip the hat this year. Man, they are taking care of us in the press box on the sub varsity. Now, I don't even like to say sub varsity, freshman JV nights on
Yeah.
Thursday nights. They come up, they send a student, they take an order, come back, they bring it for everyone
Oh,
up there
wow.
working the booth. Man, I mean, that's kind of like baseball, but it's easier with baseball. We're right above the concession stand.
Yeah. Yep.
Takes an extra effort for football coming all the way from the concession stand. So my hat's off to everyone that's involved in that.
It's a special group. I really, they are such a blessing to be a part of our program. And I know we talked about this in the last show, but we're going to be looking for some people to take up board positions, and so I'll be
Yeah.
making that call here soon. And I would love to kind of keep that going. And if that sounds like something that is appealing to our parents, please make sure you're reaching out and joining that group because a lot of great things come from that. And the more people we have the easier the workload is. You know,
Yeah.
I heard this from it was Brian Stein when my first year here as a head football coach, and he told everybody many hands make light work, and so that's always stuck with me, and I love that concept. And for the most part, we've done a really good job of that with our parent group, and we want to continue that and even get better with it.
Definitely so. Anything else to add, Coach, before we sign off this week?
Oh, there is so much action happening. We've got golf going this week. They're going this morning, actually. So unless we get
Wow.
this out, somebody's going to miss golf. But I'm excited about that. We've got tennis, we've got volleyball, football. All of us are in district play, so That's an exciting time. Cross country, they're competing and getting after it. I mean, there's so much happening on the north side. There's no excuse not to come out and get your fix of Viking athletics. So, I know it's homecoming, and I want as many people in the stands as possible. But I want as many people in the stands for all of our Vikings, because we've got some incredible athletes. We've got some incredible kids over here that love the support, and so as many people as we can get out, come on.
Sounds great, Coach. Well, until next time, I'm Bill Frawley with Lamar Athletic Director and Head Football Coach Billy Skinner saying VFND.
VFND.